Hi, I'm back with yarn package number 3. Now, in theory, because I've done 1, 2 and 3 back to back, and I will put them all up back to back, I am up to date, I think, until we get to tomorrow and then something else happens and I don't get tomorrow's done. No, I will. I'm trying desperately to be organised. So as I've said before, we're going to open this. Number 3, see what gorgeous yarn I have. And again, we have a project which you will see on my thumbnail, because I can't do the thumbnail till actually I've actually finished it, which is a little bit weird, but it's going to be an odd way of doing the videos for this. So I hope you're going to join me. I hope you're going to make the project, or if you're going to make one of my others, there will be the links for it. I will call it a vlogmas, I think, a yarn vlogmas, or a yarn 12 days of Christmas. Not sure what I'm going to call it, to be honest. I'm just trying to catch up. So I will see you in a few minutes, top down, and let's have a look what gorgeous yarn I've got today, and let's see what I'm going to make, and I will see you in a second. Number 3 parcel from my Fairy Realms yarns. Really excited about the others that I've got, but as you already know if you watch my other videos, I'm running 3 back to back here, so it's slightly chaotic in my world at the moment. But we need to open number 3, and then I can get 3 little projects out and get all the first 3 out, and then tomorrow perhaps I can actually work on a daily basis and make life a lot easier, but we'll see how it goes. So number 3 is here on the top. I didn't put it on the top, that was just how it happened. You'll believe anything. Right, there we go. Number 3. So again, I can feel the yarn, so I've got to be really careful where I actually open this. I don't want to catch anything. So I'm just going to rip it across there. So beautifully packaged and me so unbeautifully opened. Oh, we got a blue. We got a blue. I'm trying to think of the projects I've got in mind, and I'm hoping to sort of match the colours with the projects. Again, we have a fabulous sparkle. Now I think this one, it could be very sort of very icy, very wintry, so I need to really think what I'm gonna do with it. I'm sort of spoiled for choice because the others are really, because again I don't know what these colors are, so it's all going to be sort of experimentation. So again, can you see the sparkle in the yarn there? If I move it about, you can sort of see how it sort of sparkles. I hope when I actually watch the video back I can see the sparkle better than because I'm looking through the camera and it doesn't look actually that sparkly. I can see the occasional spark. Oh, there we go, we got a sparkle there. But sometimes when you're looking through the camera in the opposite way, it doesn't really show it that well. So this is my number 3, day 3, and I'm going to get it wound up, and we're going to get on with a really cute little project. I hope you enjoy it. My projects are going to be very mixed. There will be some doll things, there'll be some decoration things. Some I think would be great to actually put on Christmas presents. So, you know, it's like a little posh gift tag, something like that. So let's see how we go. So I'm going to go and get this wound up, and I'm then going to get some crochet done. I will see you in a moment or two. So here we go with our day 3 project. As I mentioned, it is a hat. As you can see, you'll have seen it in the thumbnail anyway, so you know what's coming. But the thing is, these little hats aren't just for the dolls. I've seen a lot of tree decorations, which are little pom-pom hats. You made a little garland with pom-pom hats, lots of Christmas colours, a bit of sparkle, things like that. So yes, this has been made for my Barbie. She is a curvy Barbie, and I think her head is a little tiny weeny bit larger than the others, but nothing that much that would affect. There you go. So basically you've got your little hat like that. So we're going to be making that. It's so quick. A beginner could easily do it. As long as you know your trebles and your double crochets, remember UK terms, that does matter. You will be able to make this hat in almost minutes. It does not take long. I do have my pom-pom maker here. This is my preferred method of making a pom-pom. This is a clover one, so we will do a pom-pom as well. So if you've not used one of these, it does help for that. I have my scissors, my needle, my hook. Oh, if I don't drop it, that I'm using is a 3mm crochet hook there. So my yarn's going to run about, so I'm just going to throw it over there. It's between something, so it won't fall, it won't go flying anywhere. They usually end up rolling off the table if I'm not careful. We're going to start with our slip knot and onto our hook, and we're going to do our 2 chain. So we've got 1 and we've got 2. Now into that first chain, we're actually going to do 6 double crochets. Remember, UK double crochets here. It will make a huge difference if you don't do them as UK versions. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now I don't normally slip stitch join because I'm inclined to amigurumi, but we're not this time because we're going to use trebles, so we can't. So we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. Okay, we're going to do 3 chain. 1, oh, we're not, because it dropped off the hook. 2 and 3. Now that is classed as our first treble. So I need to go directly below this one to make it 2 trebles in 1 stitch, because that's what we're going to be doing. 2 trebles in every single one of the 6 to give us 12 stitches. So in we go. Treble, remember, pull through 2, pull through 2. Into the next one, 2 trebles. So it grows really quickly, this. There we go. And another one, 2 trebles. The yarn's catching around the doll. It always does that. I always seem to put them in the wrong place so they catch. Looks like she's holding on to the yarn for me there. Right, again, 2 in this one. So it's just 2 in every single one. There's not much counting to do. We don't need stitch markers or anything at this point. So let's double check where we are. The thing with trebles, they're really easy to count as well. So if you're not sure where you've gone, you can double check. In fact, we'll do that now just to sort of make a point of sort of showing you how you can do it, because they're easy to count. So we have 2 there, we have 2 there, so it's 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12, which means we are round. When we're round, we do need, oh, look, the balls come to join us. We do need to do a slip stitch join in the top of that 3 chain. You remember that 3 chain that we did at the beginning. Now we need a bit more of an increase, because that's not going to fit the top of her head. Pull it through, okay. So we're going to do the same again, 2 trebles in every single one of those trebles. So we have to start with 3 chain, counts as our first treble. 1 treble directly below it, so that's the equivalent to 2 in 1 stitch. Now we're going to do 2 in every other stitch as well, so we end up with 24 stitches, which is what we want. So we have a first one, well, it's actually the second one, because that one's that one, and 2 in this one, basically 2 in every one all the way around till we get back to being no stitches, and then we will do a slip stitch join again in the top of that 3 chain. These are really pretty yarn. I can see the sparkle as I'm working. I don't know how much you can see that, but I can see it under the light, and it's really, really pretty. I thought this was a nice sort of wintry, sort of snowy sort of colour. I think it's really nice for that. So I thought it was perfect for a little winter hat for her. And as I say, it doesn't have to be a winter hat. It could be just a decoration. Some of the decorations out there are very strange at the moment. You could basically put anything on your Christmas tree, which is sort of nice, because everybody's got different tastes, so we can all have different things, can't we? And my tree's very eclectic anyway. Right, I'm round, so slip stitch into the top of that first 3 chain and pull it through. So you can see that is approximately the size of her crown, so it does work nicely. We're now going to do just 1 treble in every single one of those stitches. So we've got 24 stitches, remember, so we have to start with 3 chain. Now we're not going in the base this time, because if you look, you see, if you spread it out, you can see that that's lined up above that stitch there. Now you must be careful with trebles, because the stitch is always slightly to one side. So I'm actually going to go in here, which feels like I've gone into the base, but I haven't. If you're not sure, just count your stitches. 1 stitch out would not make a world of difference anyway. Again, your tension could be different to mine, your doll head size could be different to mine, so it's always worth just checking. But I think it's quite a stretchy hat, this, so it will sort of go to most sizes. And it depends on the hair of the doll as well. That's the other thing. You're okay if you've got straight hair like this one, but some of the hair, you've got no chance getting a hat on the head, or you've got to make the hat very sort of broad to do it. So, you know, you may need to alter it a little bit. This is just a very basic design. So we're just doing 1 treble. I've got to be careful not to say double crochets, because I've been doing a lot of double crochets lately, and I know it can be off-putting, and I sort of end up saying the wrong stitch, but they are trebles, just trebles, bog standard trebles. And we're almost round. The ball rolling about is just catching my eye to one side. I'm trying not to look at it. I can see that it is rolling about, so I hope it's not distracting you as well. Right, we're round, okay? So slip stitch join into the top of that 3 chain. Now you can see it's folding over. We need to push it out that way. Now I'm going to now go on to my double crochets, which is a good job because I keep wanting to say double crochets. And we're just going to do a few rounds. Now this is where you could alter it depending on the size of your doll's head. So I'm going to do one chain and then into the next one a double crochet. Yeah, remember, no wrapping for a double crochet. We're going to go all the way around. Now I am actually going to pull my stitch marker in here because when I've got round the double crochets, it's really hard because we're going to do it amigurumi style from now and just do it in a spiral. We don't need to do any slip stitches or chains up or anything like that. It's just going to be a continuous amigurumi spiral. So we have no joins, which actually makes your work look a lot neater. You can't really do that with a treble. You can get away with a half treble, but the treble you do have to stop and start, unfortunately. I find it doesn't quite, I don't know, you could do it, but I just don't think it quite works. It doesn't for me anyway. So are we nearly round? We are nearly there. There we are. So we're back round. So for now, just double crochet, not a slip stitch, into the top of that first one. And I'm going to grab my little stitch marker, which is one that I've actually got in my advent, which is so cute. It's got a little butterfly on it. It's really nice, sort of handmade stitch marker. I do love different stitch markers. So in it goes. Okay, now we're going to do 2 more rounds and then we'll try it on the doll. 2 more rounds was enough for me, but again, you may need to try it on your doll just to double check that. So round and round we go. I'm trying to make these makes as quick as possible because we're getting very near to Christmas now, but sometimes you might want to make a quick decoration or a quick stocking filler and you might only have a few minutes. So I know last year I did some sort of, if you want to look at my Vlogmas last year, there are more Christmas items and some of them do take a lot longer. But the task for this one was to deliberately get little designs, little motifs, little bits and bobs as sort of small and as quick and as easy as I could do. So I'm hoping that is going to be the case for everybody. So that is another round. So I just want one more round, then we'll try it on our Barbie. And I'm pretty sure, like I say, that's what I did with the other one, so it should fit her nicely. This yarn's been really easy to work with. I've not had sort of any splitting or any difficulty with it, and it's really soft on my fingers. Sometimes with some sock yarns they can be a little bit rough on your fingers because they're wool essentially, you know. I mean, there's a high wool content in most sock wools, so yeah, they can be a little bit rough, but this is so soft, it's lovely. I know some of you have already told me you've had a look on her site. I will put the link in for you to have a look because she has got some really pretty yarns. I say I just love anything that sparkles. So I'm going to say I'm round. I've done in total there I had 3 double crochet rounds. So shall we have a look? Actually, before I finish it off, I should check. This is what you should always check with your dolls, just in case your tension's different. And that is lovely for me. That could be just a beanie for your doll. You know, I mean, whether you're making it for your own dolls, whether you've got your children, your grandchildren, anybody like that, friends, family, etc., etc. How quick is that as a little make? So I'm really pleased with that. So I'm going to fasten it off now. So I like to do a slip stitch, as you know, when I fasten my work off. I don't know whether I just did the one then, it doesn't really matter. Fasten it off. Don't do what I did the other day. I thought I'd fastened it off and then I've pulled it and it all came undone. So we have our basic hat. Again, a beanie for a doll. It can be all sorts. It can be all sorts of things. It would actually, I think, fit over a Ferrero Rocher, that one. Would that fit over a Ferrero Rocher? It would, wouldn't it? I usually do separate Ferrero Rocher ones, but I actually think that would fit. That'd be quite cute over a chocolate. Oh, it looks a little bit wide. I don't know. So, pom-pom maker. Have you seen one of these before? If not, I recommend you get them. Open up we go. Because it makes your pom-poms nice and lush. I didn't overdo this one. You can really fill them up until they are such thick pom-poms. It's unreal. So, we take our yarn. So, I've opened it up like that. I mean, it does come apart completely. Like that. So we're together and you've got the 2 sides, and we're going to wrap the yarn around one side and then we do the other side. So I've got a little bit of a tail with it there, and I'm just going to go round and round and round and round and round and round. I've actually used more of this yarn because of the pom-pom, so it does take a little bit of extra yarn. I'll move those before I catch them. Now, I know pom-poms can be tedious. I mean, I did it old school. That's how I grew up, where you had 2 pieces of cardboard to like rings and put them together, and then you had to go round and round and round and round forever. And then obviously snipping them. It's sort of a similar basis, but you're doing half at a time this way, which is great. You know, say if you wanted to do 2 colours, you could have a half and half pom-pom, which would be really, really good. Now, I'm not going to fill this as much as I would normally. I would normally really fill it till it's completely there. I'm not going to. I'm going to cut one side, and then I'm going to fold that side down. Yeah, so that's holding that in place now. So let's go for the other one. If I held it the right way, it would help that way up. And off we go. So again, all I'm doing when I keep putting my finger in, I'm just moving it down, that's all. You don't have to do it like that. That's just the way I like to sort of get the first bit nice and neat. And then it doesn't matter so much after that. So again, I'm not over filling it even. But yeah, I just like the fact you can change colours. I mean, I could do like a layer in this colour, then I could put another layer on. You can sort of really mess about with your pom-pom designs there. Right, do a couple more in the middle there. That will do me. So I'm going to fasten that off. I will if my scissors cut. I really do need to invest in some new ones. And I'm folding it over so you can see what we've got. Now I need to cut along these. Now because it's rigid, it's quite easy to cut. So I'm going to go in. I'm not going to go in the side that opens. I'm going to go in the opposite side and trim. You can see my scissors are really so straight. My scissors get used for all sorts, unfortunately, which I know you shouldn't, but the wool does eventually destroy your scissors, I find. Right. That's why I only buy cheap ones for my wool. I've got my fabric scissors separate. They're not allowed to be used on the yarn. Ta-da! So you can see how you get this little indentation. So we need a piece of this one. Make sure this yarn is strong enough, because I do find some yarns, if you pull them, they snap. And if you're trying to do your pom-pom, that is really frustrating. So I'm just dropping them in that sort of little trench. Move any spare bits out of the way. And then I'm going to tie a little knot. You can do this however way you want, because I just like to do it this way so I get 2 knots in, because I'm always worried about things. So you probably can't see how I'm tying this, but essentially I'm tying a knot, pulling it tight, making sure that I don't do it too tight because I don't want my yarn to snap. If you find you're using a yarn and it will snap, you might be better off using a crochet cotton to hold it together, because cottons are usually a lot stiffer. So I'm now going to open this up, and hopefully I've got a pom-pom. So I basically just lift one side, lift the other side, and pull it apart. Ta-da! And I have a pom-pom. Like I say, I would not be without my pom-pom makers. They do these in different sizes as well, which is great. That's not my smallest, actually. I don't know where my smallest is. So, obviously, we need a bit of trimming. Pull that one bit out. Don't know why I managed with a loop there, but bit of trimming. And we have our pom-pom. Now, easiest way to do your pom-poms on, it does need a bit more trimming, is I just thread it through with a needle, both these sides, not at the same point, so then I can actually tie them underneath the hat into a nice knot, push them back through, and then you can just sort of trim them to match the length of these. So it's just a case of sort of playing about with it a little bit. Essentially, there is my second pom-pom hat, which I'm really pleased with, actually. I'm really pleased how they've come out with. Hope you enjoy making them. Please let me know if you have made some, or if you've used them for other things. Whether, like I say, I think a little hat garland would actually be really cute in different colours. Hat garland, or you can put it over a piece of chocolate, or it's just a little gift, or if it's for a doll or not for a doll. Just let me know. It'd be nice to see what you're actually up to. But mine has been for my little doll here, and I think it fits her perfectly. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying these advents. I have got more to come. I've got different decorations and things like that. There will be some of the doll bits as well, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye for now.